Well, good morning, Nikki.
Well, good morning, Breezy.
Good morning to our listeners.
Good morning, everyone.
We are back for another episode of the Nikki and Brie show.
Yay!
I know. It's actually very exciting because this is kind of a favorite month for us.
It's a very favorite month in so many ways.
Tell me the ways.
Okay, well, so of course, what Bree's really getting at, it's Women's History Month. Thank you, Breezy. So Women's History Month, we just had International Women's Day. So obviously for Brie and I, that is a big fave this month. Spring is here. Spring starts in
Everything's
March.
blooming.
Everything's blooming. Babies are being hatched or appearing.
My backyard doesn't look like Tim Burton's backyard anymore.
You know what I mean? And then also I love that we get the worm full moon in March.
Oh, that's right.
Which just, told the Native Americans like, hey,
time to plant.
Well, we're about to spring. Babies are coming out. Food will be here.
All right.
Yeah. It's just full of life. March is full of life, but the most important thing that you and I love over everything, it's Women's History Month.
Yeah, there is something about this month where it kind of hits me of when you start to see everything bloom and you start to see the flowers pop up and just the trees start to turn green. I feel
you still
something good. Like
me too.
I feel refreshed. I feel like, oh my gosh, all right. Like it awakens me.
Totally. And I like it because you get like sunshine through the day, but you still get your crisp cold mornings.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like we're not fully like all warm yet. It's still like got a transition period.
Still have to warm up the car before school.
Exactly.
I mean, I literally, because you guys, we just dealt with, for all of you who are on the West Coast, daylight savings time yesterday.
Kicked our ass.
I was late for school today. Everyone went to bed super late, too. Even though when you think about it, we actually all went to bed normal time. We actually all woke up normal time. I don't know if I like this or not. I feel like every year on the podcast, I might vent about it for 2 minutes, but I don't know if there's a point.
There was a point for it, like I think many years ago, right? With farming. Isn't that why? But
also some seasons the sun's gonna be earlier or later or here or there. I don't know. It just agree. Throws. When we weren't parents, we didn't care.
Yeah.
But when you have kids, it literally throws a household.
Mateo and I woke up so late this morning. There was so much to do with an hour before leaving for school. I was like, I don't have time for hair. I came to your house and washed my face. At least I got my teeth brushed before I walked out the door. But
that's good.
Yeah. But it was crazy. And even the night before, it's almost like 2-3 days you're affected.
I agree. My kids are literally still eating breakfast and I'm like putting their pants on and I'm brushing their hair and trying to wash their face. They were like, what's going on? I'm like, daylight saving times. Every year it kills me. When they were babies, it was really bad because you'd almost have to redo the sleep training.
Yeah.
Which I know some people are like, well, don't sleep train that. I know. But it just felt like everything just gets thrown. I think it's a week.
Well,
because you know what I'll do tonight? I do go every night for that first week. I do every 15 minutes. So tonight, we're going to go to bed 15 minutes earlier than we did last night. Yeah. And I do that every night. And then I feel like by the weekend, everyone's solid, back on 7 to 7:30 p.m. bedtimes. Everyone's waking up back in that 6 to 7:15 time. Buddy 6, Birdie 7.
All right. Well, she got her 2-minute vent out.
I did. All right. I did. You're lucky I did my makeup today.
Things could be worse.
Yeah. They could. And I'm very happy my hair air dried nicely because sometimes that can be a wreck.
No offense. Your hair is always wild.
It is?
Yeah. There's just something about it. It always looks like.
Not done?
Not together.
I think that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Sometimes. I like wild hair.
No, I know, but it's weird. It gets a little straggly in certain areas.
Well, also I think because I'm 41 trying to grow my hair super long. So every time I brush my hair, I'm like,
I think it's just because you don't really. But I feel like it's because you don't really brush it.
Yes, I do.
Oh.
I do a full brush.
Oh.
Girl. Like
that.
I'm not going to blow dry my hair every day. That's just not me.
Oh, well, you shouldn't.
Yeah. I just wash it, see what God gave me.
Oh, look it.
And then we
upset.
Do it. Now, I will admit, do a little bit of a curling iron in 2 spots up here because it was a little
No, it looks great. You look great, Brie.
Thank you.
So I really want to dive into our past weekend and being in LA and attending the Queen of the Ring premiere.
Oh, it was amazing.
It was amazing. So I just want to dive in on that, especially being Women's History Month. And I think it's fun for us to talk about that and women that have inspired us as of late.
Right.
But let's just start with this movie because, you know, being an incredible biopic on Mildred Burke. So this is the story of her. And I think what's so important, it's not even about women's wrestling. I mean, for us, so much of it is, but it's a woman, single mom in the 1930s through 50s who paved a road so unseen. Like it was pretty much against the law for a woman to be in the ring and to compete in a lot of sports. So this is also based of just female athletes and what she did. And I loved in the movie how they put that at the end of it's not just about her being a female wrestler, but what she did for women in sports and the money she made people believe that women could main event. And this is 1930s through 50s. So
she was the highest paid
female
athlete. And that's absolutely incredible because she was a professional wrestler. For us, that is like a big hooray, huge moment for us.
Right. And I think too, what I also love about her story is her dream started later. She was a mom. She was working at a diner that her mom owned. It wasn't like she was super young and grew up with this dream. She came across wrestling one day, went and watched it with her mom and fell in love. And I also loved that part of it of like, I could have this new dream and go conquer it and being a mom. And she kept her son first while doing all of these other things and raised an incredible son.
Right.
So let's get into it first. Brie and we stayed at the Peninsula in Beverly Hills, which was amazing. Love that hotel.
Yeah, it was a great hotel. But, you know, I have to tell you, you know, getting ready for the premiere and all that, that's always fun. I love that kind of girl time. Yeah, I mean, hey, I don't know what it is, but I always find it very fun to get ready for a red carpet. I love like getting in a really fun outfit. I love putting it together. Well, actually, Natalie put it together for me. But I love doing all of that. I like getting all glammed up. I know you're the same. There's something so fun about that. Mm-hmm. Not like I want to do it every day, but once in a blue moon.
Yeah.
It's a really fun time. But yeah, I mean, the red carpet was great. I think for us, always seeing people we worked with in the past, it's, I guess the way people would feel when they saw someone they went to camp with or school with.
Right.
It feels like home. It's just exciting. Like,
yeah.
I love.
Well, there were so many people there that I didn't even realize. Like we missed Mercedes. I had no idea Mercedes was there.
I didn't either.
I knew she quickly got to see Toni, which was amazing. I didn't know Mariah was there. Who else? Renee came in later, so we didn't even get to see Renee till later. I think that was because people online were like, oh my gosh, why didn't they do like a big girls photo or why didn't everyone see? The carpet was small, but you didn't see people. It was a lot of chaos in an amazing way.
And they had everyone kind of staggered when they came, so it wouldn't be so chaotic. But I feel like that probably was better because it was so crammed. But I am bummed we all didn't get a pic.
I know, because we saw Melina on the way out, and then
Paige was there.
At least we got to see Saraya and have our time with Saraya. That was perfect. She looks so amazing. I'm so happy for her.
I know.
She's just glowing and just, I'm just so happy for her.
Well, and even seeing John Morrison was fun.
Yeah, that was fun. It's so funny when we all are sitting there and we're like talking about our age and we're like, oh my God, time has flown by. Because we all just started in our we met them in our young 20s. We literally did ECW with John Morrison. When you think of that, that's insane.
It's crazy.
Crazy.
I mean, time really flies.
Time flies.
And I will say it was really fun to see a mix of AEW and WWE people. Because that's so rare.
Right.
So to see the mix of both sides,
I was like,
cool. I know. And that has to be exciting for fans. Because if I'm like excited about that, fans have to be.
100. And then also to get in the movie in Queen of the Ring, you get a few wrestlers, female wrestlers. And that was so cool. I mean, Naomi crushed it. She crushed it. Toni crushed it. Camille, who plays June, crushed it.
Yeah, and it was fun. You got to see Mickie James in a scene. I'm trying to think who else was in a scene. I mean, that might have been the only wrestlers we know. Yeah, I think, but I agree. I mean, it was fun. It's just, being pro wrestlers, like I sat there and I feel like it really pulled at the heartstrings, seeing her work so hard. And the thing I love the most is the way she had a dream and she fought hard for it. And I think that's really incredible, because I look at her story and a lot we watched, and Brian actually says the book is absolutely amazing.
I wonder, because the movie is based off the book, her book.
And he said the book's incredible. And like the director said, they couldn't make the movie rated R. So they left a lot out.
Yeah.
And I'm really interested in what they left out, because they wanted it to be PG-13. But for me, I was like, there was a lot of times she could have just given up and it would have been understandable.
Right. Well, I have to say, I love how Ash, the director, how he went in that direction, because like if Birdie was older and when Birdie's older, I think it's such an incredible movie for our younger females to see, teenagers, because I think it's so inspirational, motivational. And I just think I love that he went in that direction so we can bring that younger generation in to watch. I think it's a great story. And even when there's hard parts and triggering parts of when she deals with domestic violence, but I think it's also good for people to see like that they won't stand for that and how she reacted to some of those things. Now we have to also know in some of it, her mindset is from 1930s to 1950s, which she still had a very forward perception of things of what she wouldn't take. But then sadly, because as we saw, they just gave the husband the money, or she knew she had to marry because that was the only way that she could get the money that she truly earned.
Yeah, that was sad.
So sad in that time of what they had to do.
Yeah, it was even sad when and I know, spoiler alert, but when she had just gotten beaten up by her husband, but she was looking in the mirror and she's like telling her mom and her son, like, I don't want to be known as an abused wife. I don't want people to feel bad for me. Instead, I want the young girls to come in and be cheering for me because I'm the strongest woman. And like when she went in that whole thing, I was like,
look, I have massive chills.
Yeah. And I was like, because I was like, wow, like I get it.
Yeah.
In a way, like I sat there and I was like, whoa.
That part made me cry.
And then it made me feel so bad that she feels she has to be that person for that.
But how true is that?
It is.
Even in our time, how true is that still for women?
Right. I mean, it is.
Yeah.
And so, that really got me, that part.
It did. And, so I had an incredible conversation with the National Women's History Museum. And what I love is their campaign this month for Women's History Month was so perfect for Queen of the Ring, because their whole campaign is, I'm not a footnote. And women aren't a footnote of history. They are the story. So they really showcase all these incredible stories of women throughout history that did incredible things that get no credit or no one knows their story. And that is what Queen of the Ring reminded me of Mildred's story. Like, she was no footnote. She was the woman, the history, did things that men didn't even do, made money for men that they weren't making, opened up doors for men and for women, and of course for us women. And I thought that was so, like, it was crazy to have that conversation a few days later, go into this. And I know you and I were doing interviews on the red carpet and just being like, this is exactly what their campaign is. And this is true.
Right.
Not a footnote. The story.
Yeah. Incredible.
Yeah. You and I just walked out like,
I'm
going to watch it again. I was feeling it. And also it made us so proud to be wrestlers. Like we were talking about it, and it was cute because Saraya, Brie, and I were all sitting next to each other, and we'd all just like look at each other and be like, yeah, like in certain moments, like, yeah.
For
like,
sure.
That's right. We got pumped.
Well, and I feel like too, I was like, wow, I am a part of the road she paved. And I am this little part that kept helping pave that road. Mm-hmm. And there's just, it really made me take just kind of a pause and be like, damn, Brie, like, that's awesome.
It's awesome.
It's like really, really amazing.
Yeah. And so I encourage all of you who are listening to go watch it. You don't have to be a wrestling fan. You don't have to be into wrestling. You don't have to be, aspired to be a wrestler. You will take so much more from it, especially for our moms that are listening. what I took from it, what I thought was so incredible is we can be at any age as a mom, doesn't matter how old our child is, baby, teenager, toddler, we can have this gigantic dream and still conquer it and put our child first.
For sure.
And she showcased that so well. And I get it also takes a group around us. Like her mom helped her so much. She couldn't have done it without her mom.
For sure.
But I think there's such a beauty in it. It's us women. I mean, we're already as a woman, we are born with a superpower. We can make life. We can control things without people knowing. We nurture. We have all these incredible abilities to us that we are born with that all men aren't. And then on top of that, when we become moms, we really get this superpower and we become this superhero that makes us so unstoppable mentally, physically. Like there's something about the lioness. She truly runs the food chain. You know, she has Mufasa by her side, but let's be honest, when that mom has babies, Mufasa doesn't even mess with her, right? And that's a mom. But I really loved that part of the story, and that it inspired me so much and made me also feel amazing about what I do, because you and I both are like this. We always put our kids first, but we still fulfill and live our dreams right behind that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I will say this. When I walked away from that film, was I in awe about her physical strength? Absolutely. But what got me the most was her mental strength. Mm-hmm. And that right there is what truly inspired me more than anything.
I agree. It made... I mean, we were talking, I had so many ideas because I know at one point I will be going back to WWE to do something, right? I don't know when, I don't know the story, but it's going to happen. And watching that, it made me feel like what I did when I broke my neck. I had moments of like, no, this isn't going to be career ending. I'm going to come back. And the thing is I come back differently, but she also had a massive knee injury. But seeing how she overcame, especially that last match that they showed in the movie, it just made me feel so many things of, you know, her age, being a mom, the mental ability. And I was like, see, I can do this, and you could do it with anyone.
For sure.
It's mind over matter. Maybe you don't look like who the world champion is, or maybe you're not the age of this new person that everyone's looking at, but that doesn't mean what you can do and conquer and achieve is over. Because when it's the mind and you can push it in that way, you can conquer anything. You can become a world champion at this age if you want, whatever age may be. You may have less muscles than this person, but you still can become a world champion at any age. You know what I mean?
I mean, you know what's crazy is I'll never forget, we were wrestling Maurice, and I think it was Alicia Fox on one of the live events. And you remember when Maurice's knee popped out? Yeah. And I remember we're backstage and they have to put her knee back in. And she literally goes, if my sister can birth babies, I can get my knee put back in. And I remember being right there as support. And when they did it, and I was like, oh my gosh. Like, because you could physically see her knee on the side and how the doctor had to move it and pop it back in. Yeah. And I was like, I just remember for a second, like, damn, if that's like birthing babies, I don't know if it's all for me.
Right?
But yeah, but it is pretty crazy, our mental ability. But, you know, I don't know if you have anything more to say about Queen of the Ring, because there's been some other women as of late that's really inspired me as well.
Well, yeah, that's actually what I wanted to ask you. Like, what women have been inspiring you of late, you know, whether it's this month, this past year.
Well, it's interesting because, you know, for Lent, I gave up TV because I wanted to get back into reading, and just, I feel like so many levels of me need it. It's not bad to decompress to watching TV every night, but I was kind of like, okay, I feel like I'm not having the conversations I should with Brian, because I'll just go and put my headphones on and have my iPad out. And I stopped kind of reading and all the things that really do help me. So it was hard the first couple nights, but now I'm used to it. Mm-hmm. Started to read, and I'm reading Mel Robbins' Let Them. Okay.
Everyone's telling me I need to read this.
So good. And like, I see her social post. I haven't listened to her podcast, which now I want to. And I always love her social posts. I always feel like, oh, I needed that. Really inspiring. But her book, Let Them, is so incredible. And she's very relatable. And I think that's why people really gravitate towards her. She really gives examples of her personal life in there and what spoke to her, how she was inspired to starting Let Them. Like that whole story was fascinating with her son. I don't know. I'm like, wow, she's very much inspired me. And the last couple nights, like I almost can't put the book down. It's like 9:30 and I'm like, okay, I need to get to bed. And that to me, when an author can draw me in like that, and I feel like I'm learning, but at the same time, just like enjoying their book, like that's incredible. So she's definitely like the woman of the month for me, which I'm sure for a lot of women out there. I know she's on a live tour right now. And then I was like, oh, should I look at tickets? It might be fun to go. But Mom and I were talking because Mom's like super into her too. But I totally recommend the book. I love it. That. And I think like, yes, like at times when you hear like methods, you're like, well, yeah, I know. But like, do you actually do them? Right. And I feel like this book helps you kind of do them and like pushes you a little bit, like just like to do it. Yeah. And so like you'll read it and it's things like, yeah, you might know it, but do you really know it? And do you really do it? So she's my girl of the month. What about you?
I love that. I mean, mine, I spoke about her earlier. I'm going to just stick with Mildred Burke. Yeah. For her also being just constantly trying to make myself better, heal, be the best version of myself, learn, grow, all the things. I feel like I've been taking bits and pieces of all these different people. I've been reading about like stuff online. Like I'll see someone will tell me to read, oh, look up this person and read stuff about them and take something here. Or, whether it's our sessions with Carrie or some other women that I've been talking to. And so a lot of that has hit me. And it's just been really inspired by. I have to say, I came across this reel and I want to like share it. I need to see. I think I liked it. I can't remember, but it was from a Megan Fox interview. Actually, I think from the Drew Barrymore show from her poem book. But it was about what one of her poems meant, but about how so many of us fall in love with the potential of someone, but not who they are. But we know they could be this person and we just sit there and wait for them to become this person, but they never do. And she went on this whole thing and I was like, wow, it was really awesome.
Yeah, and it is really true. I think a lot of people kind of let them, just in that book is exactly that. Like, don't change anyone. It's either let them be, they're them. Yeah. And if it doesn't work with your energy and with you, let them go. Or you gotta, it's 100% true. Like we can't control it all. And the more you try to control it all, or you feel like you want to change the situation, change someone, you're just wasting your energy and the mental space. Like I feel like so many times people are so tired and it's like you're tired trying to control it all. Like it either works or it doesn't. Right. And also like with people, they either mesh with you or they don't.
Totally.
And that's okay. Right. And our kids, they're never going to be us. And they're never going to be who you want them to be. I mean, I am someone who doesn't care who my kids are. I have no expectations for them. I want them to be them. So I don't have an issue there. But there are a lot of people who want their kids to be a certain type of smart, a certain type of athlete, a certain type of something. Right. And you can't. You got to let them be them.
It's true. Like, that's even how I feel like I've kind of already have taken that mindset of not only, relationships in the future, but like you said, with kids and also with work. Sometimes people want you to be certain things right now. And I'm like, no, when things are meant to be, they will be. Yeah. But I'm not even in the mindset to fight for things because I'm also like the let them type. Do you know what I mean? Like this works or it doesn't. But I'm not going to change things to make it work, if you know what I mean.
I feel like we're so in tune with ourselves. We know when to fight and not.
Yes.
And when it's time to fight, I get up. I get my armor. I'm ready.
You know it? I open that superhero closet I got.
Yeah. Yeah. See, mine's like behind here. If you push a certain piece sign, it opens up. Just kidding. Okay, before we go, should we play a little game?
Yes.
So the game we're going to play is Fair or Foul. Sometimes we make decisions in the blink of an eye, and this is when we look back at some of these scenarios to see if our choices were fair or foul. Okay, Nicole. Is it fair or foul if someone is late to an appointment?
Foul, obviously. Because then they ruin all the other appointments behind them.
That's what gets me.
Yes.
Is like the domino effect.
And then when you're the one sitting in the waiting room waiting forever or whatever it may be because someone else showed up late, but you're on time.
But I will say this. Sometimes people do have good excuses.
100.
You know?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, Brie. Fair or foul if you have more photos of your pets than your kids?
Ooh, foul.
I agree.
You need more of the kids.
100.
You know? But Brian might argue that one. He might say, you don't want to take your kid's soul away, so maybe he'd do more of the dogs. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it fair or foul if you're not invited to an activity with your friend group?
Me?
Yeah.
Foul? You joking?
Right?
But really
what if it was bungee jumping? We all know you don't want to do that.
I mean, yeah, I'd be like, bye. But I could still be invited and watch.
Okay. So you want to be invited to be able to say no?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Okay. Fair or foul? They're into morning sex and you're not.
Oh, foul. That's not fair.
Yeah.
You know, you got to give it up for the team at times.
Yeah.
Right? Like if I knew...
No, 100. I mean, I feel like I'm always, we're pleasers. So,
well, that's like, And then you know
much
what?
I wouldn't want it. I'd be like, sure.
There could be a therapist telling me you're absolutely wrong, Brie.
Yeah.
Like,
boundaries.
You do you. Yeah. So I don't know. To moi, it'd be foul. Okay. Is it fair or foul when your sister stops for coffee and doesn't ask you if you want something?
Wait, what?
If your sister stops for coffee and doesn't ask you if you want something.
So that's always you because you drop your kids off before mine.
Actually, I always ask you.
There's been times you haven't.
No,
So major foul.
Major foul, but I always ask you.
Right. Okay, Brie. Fair or foul? Jokes that your vagina looks like the sandworm from Dune.
I mean, so fair.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna say that, bitch.
It was fair because Mateo, you know, it was out of his mouth, and I feel like
I'll never get over that vagina monster.
I know. I think a lot of people won't. We all kind of look at you differently.
Oh, right. He doesn't think it's mommy's.
Well, who else? What is he watching?
I just think he looked and was like, what, he wouldn't know a sandworm from Dune. So
I hope that's it. Okay. Is it fair or foul if a guy takes you on a date to a chain restaurant for your first date?
I mean, I'm going to say fair, but obviously there might not be a second.
And I'm going to say this. If I was dating and he did that, he definitely doesn't know who I am. And that's a major foul for me.
Right.
Bad. Big time. And then he's going to get the total Portlandia, me giving my, what do you say? What I want to eat. Like, and he's going to be totally bothered. It's just going to be, that'd be an awful first date for me.
Awful.
Is it fair or foul if they keep the lights on?
I'm going to say fair. I don't mind either way. You know, it's like, you know what I mean? Good for them. I feel like it's actually a compliment if someone wants to leave the lights on with you, whether it's a man or a woman.
I guess that's right. Yeah.
Because they want to see you.
Fair.
Yeah. I think that's amazing.
Fair. Okay. Is it fair or foul to go over to a guy's house for the first time and he only has one pillow?
I mean, that's just foul. That's rude.
But maybe his other pillows are in the closet, but then that would freak me out. Like that would be so many red flags.
What would be? Oh, well, it would. I mean, it wouldn't be red flags. It's a person's probably been alone for a long time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I have a quote.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Well, I've been looking because I
didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was a little fun game. Well, I say we end our episode with a little inspiration affirmation.
Let's do it.
Okay. I found this. I saw it yesterday and I was like, you know what? I liked it. Simple, which I love simple. And I was like, this is cute. It's a mantra. And I got this from Young Pueblo on Instagram, which I actually saw some of my friends like his stuff. So I'm like, okay.
Oh, nice.
And I went,
Must
I'm
be
like,
something.
yeah. And he's like an inspirational guy, really motivating with quotes and like does like fun videos.
Love it.
And this is what I saw, one of his quotes, and I loved it. Everything I lose creates space for everything I need.
Wow.
I'm going to re-say it. Everything I lose creates space for everything I need.
I love that.
So when you think it is the end of the world, when you lose something, or when something is all of a sudden out of your life, and that goes for, it doesn't have to be material things. I'm talking, it could be dating, spiritually, whatever it is so true when you look at the glasses half full, that something you need is coming.
I agree.
And need it. You needed to open up for that, right?
It's so true, because I believe in that so much, even with material things, because I've lost like quite a few diamonds, like, and literally they've been stolen or lost. And someone said to me like, oh, well, sometimes diamonds come in and serve a purpose, like with that person, and then they leave. Like, someone gave me this whole thing on it. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so interesting. And it helped in ways of losing diamonds. But I do feel that in life when you lose things and like jobs, and we always talk about the open doors, but I like it in that way because you could take that in any kind of way with
for sure.
People, material things, whatever it may be, tangible, intangible. And it was interesting because, Claire's been staying with me, and after I put Mateo down last night, she and I, we were talking last night, and we were just talking about sometimes God will constantly give you the same problem, and people are like, I just don't get it. I always fall for this type of person, or I'm always in this situation. But it was amazing to hear her insight of like, because God's waiting for you to learn the lesson. And then once you learn that I am going to have boundaries, or I am going to do it differently, that all of a sudden how life changes, because God has realized you no longer need to learn that lesson because you've learned.
Yeah.
Because she was giving me the most incredible examples. And I was like, whoa, Claire, I've never thought of it in that way of like, I'm always in this situation, but is it because I've actually learned of like, maybe I shouldn't go into this situation anymore, or maybe I should have more respect for myself in this way, or all the different things. And it was just such an incredible conversation. Right. And it kind of just reminded me of that.
I agree.
Simple
quote, but it really hits.
It really hits.
So put that up on your mirrors for the week. I feel like that's a good one. And any of you who are dwelling on something you lost, whether it's a job, a friendship, like Nikki Diamonds, I feel like there's always a positive
material.
No,
but there is. I agree. It's,
for sure. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into the Nikki and Brie Show. You can look for videos on the Nikki and Brie Show IG page, Facebook, TikTok, and the Nikki and Brie Show is on YouTube. So you can go see us on YouTube. That's right. Also, we are on Sirius XM Stars 109. We do have a hotmail. We are collecting a bunch of voicemails that we will be answering in the next couple episodes.
Would it be a hotline?
That's what I just said.
You said hotmail.
Oh, my gosh. Daylight saving time.
I know. It's really rocked us.
You can call our hotline at 833 Garcia 2. We do listen to our voicemails and we will answer your questions, or you can tell us something. Give us a quote. We would love that. All right. Until the next episode, you guys have a great week.
Bye, everyone. Happy Women's History Month.